The suspense continues over who will be the Chief Minister in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. Congress President Rahul Gandhi is in a huddle with the par-toppy brass. Will the old guard make way for the young Turks? For the first time ever, the government admits to having differences with the RBI over credit flow and liquidity in a vociferous defense of the centre. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley questions how a mere discussion and the RBI functioning could be considered destruction of an institution. Also asserts the central bank's policies must be in tandem with those of an elected government. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das hits the ground running, meets with PSU bank chiefs a day after taking charge. Sources say banks push for relaxation in the prompt corrective action norms. The liquidity squeeze in MSMEs and agriculture was also discussed. The prompt corrective action framework, asking for it to be applied on a case-by-case basis. At the India Economic Conclave, top bankers and NBFC players say the worst is over for the crisis of confidence in the NBFC sector and reject calls for an asset quality review of the shadow banks.
So I would not take this election result to be the final guide to the 2019 result. I will still bet my money on a BJP government, led by Mr.
The big bull of the Rao Street says he's betting on Modi for 2019 despite the recent state election results going against the BJP. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala expects the markets to continue to remain volatile in the run-up to general elections. Also says capital investment is reviving and there is huge volume of local money waiting to come into the market. Interpol issues a red corner notice against Mehul Choksi, the fugitive businessman, who is holed up in Antigua and is wanted by the CBI in the 14,000 crore rupee fraud at Punjab National Bank. The notice means that only any of Interpol's 192 member countries can arrest or detain Choksi spotted within their borders, after which the extradition process can begin. It is such a pleasure to be joining you right here on the India Development Debate on ET Now. I'm Supriya Shrinate and I'm really putting the spotlight on the elections and candidate selection of the chief ministers in the states of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. The defense just about continues and so does the drama. The suspense over who would be the next chief minister in the Hindi Heartland is now reaching fever pitch, with Kamal Nath having gone to Bhopal and Jyotiraditya Scindia following suit. And in fact, a picture that Rahul Gandhi has just tweeted out of Jyotiraditya Scindia and Kamal Nath with a Leo Tolstoy quote that says the two most powerful warriors of patience and time. One wonders if he's really trying to tell Jyotiraditya to keep the patience and telling Kamal Nath this is one final and one last time and he's not going to have time after this. But let me take this across to my expert panel that's joining me right here, because I think there are many questions that arise from this. The young Turks versus the old guard. What is really going to happen in international, and national politics as far as the young Turks are concerned? What does this mean for a young India? Are we going to be the youngest nation in the world by 2020? But why can young people not be chief ministers? Is this Rahul Gandhi's test of patience and leadership? Is he going to go in with the young Turks or actually go with the tried-tested formula of going with the old guard? Many questions. Sadanand Dhume, Resident Fellow, American Enterprise Institute joins us. Sanjeev Srivastava, political commentator, joins us. Shama Mohammed joins us, representing the Congress, and Shaina NC represents the BJP. Thank you very much, all of you, for being with us. And Sadanand, let me begin with you. We've just seen this drama ensue. It's been going on. We're given to understand that at least the Madhya Pradesh brigade of Jyotiraditya Scindia and Kamal Nath have both left. Apparently, the scales are tipped in Kamal Nath's favor, though he's the senior colleague. What do you make of the drama? The meeting has, the election has been won, and there is just so much of back and forth between who the chief minister will be.
Supriya, I think that's a little bit premature, if we were having this conversation a week from now, I would agree with you. But the election has just happened. They did not declare a CM candidate. Some of us at the time thought it was a mistake. Turned out maybe it wasn't such a big mistake. They managed to win all three Hindi Heartland states in any case. And now, some of this sort of back and forth is pretty natural, I would say, in any political party, in any democracy. So, if the stalemate continues and a week from now we don't have a chief minister, then I would agree that there's sort of something wrong. But at this point, if they're feeling their way through it and working it out, I don't think we should make too much of it.
I couldn't disagree with you at all on that, and we did not make a winker of what was happening when the Uttar Pradesh elections happened. But give me a minute, let me get in Sanjeev Srivastava also on this. And Sanjeev, the question that that needs to be answered is, apparently Rahul Gandhi did reach out to 7 lakh of his party men, wanted to get some kind of a feedback, and then the High Command is going to decide who the Chief Minister will be. So why go through this entire charade and this entire optics of trying to get the people's voice on board? Or do you really believe he's going to go in by the feedback that he's got?
Well, the classic Congress philosophy has been, and the time-tested method has been, to elicit the views of the legislatures. This time Rahul Gandhi went a step further and asked even party workers to send him their views as to who should be the Chief Minister. I think that was more for optics. How would he work out what is the party workers' view and how many workers will send their reactions, etc., etc. I partly agree with what Sadanand said, that if we were discussing this after a week, then there was a problem within the Congress party, not in less than 48 hours, and in case of Madhya Pradesh, less than 36 hours after the results have been declared. But where I have a problem really is that the manner in which the whole thing has been enacted and played out, especially in Rajasthan, with demonstrations across the state, near Ajmer, near Dausa, rail, Rasta Roko, some little bit of violence, Congress workers coming to blows in Raipur, and also some heated moments in Bhopal and elsewhere in Madhya Pradesh. I think post the election, post the 7th, Congress party and Congress High Command should have worked out a formula, should have called out these senior leaders and thought of a way out in case the party wins, because the last vote was cast, and whatever the advantages of keeping a suspense on who the chief ministerial candidate was, so that all worked together and given their best till the time of the voting, that was over on the 7th with Rajasthan polls. So 7th and till now, till 11th, they should have had some kind of contingency, some kind of a plan. Now suddenly you are making things as if Sachin doesn't become, Sachin loses face. And if Gehlot, suppose, doesn't become 2 times Chief Minister, virtually a number 2 in Congress setup, he's been made to project himself as a contender. And if he doesn't get the post, what face he is left with? So it could have been handled better, I think, this whole leadership issue.
Sanjeev Srivastava, give me a minute and I will go across to Shama Mohammed. I will just request each of my panelists to make this brief. It's a half-an-hour show and I want to get in as many views and as many questions answered. But Shama, if the High Command has to make a decision, what is this whole optics about getting the party workers to send feedback and all of that? And the other point with that party workers is, I mean, who do you know may be a more popular candidate but may not be a more able administrator?
You have to give me a few seconds to answer this question. From 2014 onwards, what I hear is Congress Mukt Bharat. And we are right now in 2018, almost reaching 2019. And the biggest takeaway from this election is the Congress party is 3 out of 5 and the Bharatiya Janata Party is 0 out of 5, which I don't see any channels playing out because they just got a big 0. Now, what we see here is that you keep asking the question about who is going to be, it's just been 48 hours. I remember for the Uttar Pradesh, they had 3 candidates, that was Rajnath Singh, Keshav Prasad Maurya and Manoj Sinha. So these were the 3 candidates, and one was the party president over there, the other one was an ex-chief minister, and the third person was very popular. But no MLAs were consulted then. They just chose Mr. Adityanath from nowhere and made him the candidate for the chief minister. In the Congress party, we have got something called internal democracy. We have something called consensus building. There are 2 candidates in each of these states and the 3rd state. So there is a consensus building, and we will decide and we'll take a call. We have taken the MLAs have come forward and told whom they want. We have taken that. Then we've got some inputs, like you have mentioned, from various cadres, Mr. Gandhi had asked, and then we will take a call on who will be the Chief Minister. But I don't think there's such a hue and cry the media is making out of this. It's just 48 hours. Like Mr. Doom said and Mr. Srivastav said, let us, if it's after a week or 10 days we are having still this crisis, then I can understand. No, but unlike the Bharatiya Janata Party, two people do not decide who are candidate. Even Maharashtra, they took.
Okay, Shama Mohammed, give me a minute.
Then they got Manohar Lal Khattar from nowhere in Haryana, appointed another one. So these are the points I'm trying to make out here, is that we have a consensus building, we have internal democracy.
Yes.
We do not appoint
people. Shama, give me a minute.
We ask the opinion of our MLAs and various leaders.
Okay, Shama, give me a minute. I will go across to Shaina NC. And Shaina, there are lots of people within the BJP who've commented on this and who've said that this is almost like a test of leadership, Rahul Gandhi's leadership, and you know, he can't decide and all of that. The reality is you took 1 week to decide when you had won UP. You know, Yogi Adityanath was not your chief ministerial candidate. He was not decided on in the 48 hours of election results coming in, even though you had a very overwhelming majority. He was decided in a week's time. And you know, nobody questioned the lack of leadership then. Why should one question the lack of leadership now?
Firstly, this is an internal matter of the Congress party. We really don't care who they choose to make Chief Minister and who not. But look at the takeaway from this election. Firstly, after 15 years of ruling, we have given not just a good fight, we have lost some seats by not even 500 votes. If you see the amount of votes polled in Madhya Pradesh, BJP got more votes than even Congress did. So I don't think this is about victory, defeat. This is about accountability. Now, when you have a mandate which is given to you, why should you even lose 48 hours? Why should you have chaos and confusion? Why should you have highways burning and trucks busted because you don't want to suggest that your leader is the natural choice or somebody else is? I think that is unfair to the voter. And Supriya ji, let's understand, in a democracy you win, you lose, you have opportunity to present whoever you want. And these terms like high command in the 21st century is deciding. Is this what you have come to, which is to set out a precedent that there is confusion in our party? Look at the image crisis. It only looks like every leader is here for lust for power. So I don't want to be commenting on the Congress party's internal issues. No. The only thing I would want to say is that you owe it to the electorate and administration. Whether it starts the first day or the second is not really a matter of contention. The kind of inconvenience you cause to public clearly is. Why send these
Can I need to come in?
No, 1 second, 1 second. Shama Mohammed and Shaina NC, give me a minute. Shama Mohammed and Shaina NC, give me a minute. I'm a little amused with what, a little bit of what both of you are saying. High command, is this the culture in the 21st century? What are Mr. Modi and Amit Shah? Who decides in the BJP? Who decided Mr. Khattar is going to be the chief minister from nowhere with no administrative experience? So let's not talk about high command. That's the reality of Indian politics. There are few men at the top who decide that, and I think the sooner we agree with that, hopefully the sooner it will change. But Sadanand Dhume, I must come to you, and I think it's going to be a dilemma for Rahul Gandhi to choose between, or perhaps this is why we are not seeing an announcement just yet. He's got to balance out experience and, you know, the old guard, while promoting Young Turk. And is that a tough dilemma for any political leader in the Indian scenario?
Yeah, I would say it's a tough dilemma, not just in the Indian scenario, but in any scenario. I mean, I'm not sure how much your viewers are following this, but the Democratic Party is going through this whole tussle, you know, between Nancy Pelosi and younger leaders there. I mean, obviously there are many factors, and in political parties there are always factions. Age is typically one of the factors, not the only or not necessarily the most important one. So, you know, to me, this is all, you know, quite natural. I mean, I have to say I admire the audacity of the BJP spin factory here. But the big story is that the BJP lost 5-0. And the second big story is that the Congress won 3 states in the Hindi Heartland. All the other stuff is details. So if you want to turn this into some, some kind of crisis, that's ridiculous. It's not. It could be a crisis if we're still talking about this in a week. It is certainly a test to the extent that, you know, Rahul Gandhi has been criticized, in my view, rightly, for kind of lacking the kind of subtle interpersonal skills you need to manage. And so to that extent, this is a test. We'll see how well he handles it. All I'm saying is that let's not judge it prematurely. Let's see how it plays out.
No, fair point indeed. But Sanjeev Srivastava, I want you to come in that as well. You know, it's going to be a tough choice because when Rahul Gandhi came in as the Congress party president, there were these allegations that he is going to actually overlook and, you know, rule over the old guard. People thought, you know, men like Ahmed Patel have been out of favor, will be out of favor. We're actually seeing a reverse of what we had, you know, been apprehensive about. Ahmed Patel is back in the reckoning as the party treasurer. The name of Ashok Gehlot is very much doing the rounds. Kamal Nath is almost a done deal for Madhya Pradesh. You know, what message is he going to send out if he were to go with the old guard? And do you believe he actually will be able to manage the old guard in one, Kamal Nath in Madhya Pradesh, and perhaps Sachin Pilot in Rajasthan? Sachin has doggedly been working in Rajasthan ever since they lost that election of 2014.
Okay. So I think for one, Ashok Gehlot is most likely to be the Chief Minister. It's more or less decided. And so is Kamal Nath. And the problem with Rahul Gandhi, yes, a lot of youngsters and a lot of young leaders rightfully think that when will their turn come. And especially when Rahul Gandhi said in his speeches that I'll give you Chief Minister, like he said in Rajasthan, who will work 18 hours a day for you. So obviously people thought it will be Sachin Pilot. But Rahul Gandhi can also play as good a game as a hand is dealt to him. If the Congress party had ended up with 120 seats in Rajasthan, Sachin Pilot would have been the Chief Minister 100%. Or if the party had a huge majority in MP, then we would have had a real contest. Why did Kamal Nath go to MP? Because the popular grapevine is that he was willing to invest in the elections. He was willing to spend the money. Jyotiraditya was not. So Jyotiraditya may be the most popular candidate, but it was Kamal Nath, Digvijay Singh's politics, behind the scene management, managing the dissidents, and Kamal Nath's wallet, if you may, purse. That's what was the election in MP about. And in Rajasthan, now when you end up with 99 seats out of 200, most of the dissidents or rebels supporting Gehlot, and you have 2019 looming ahead, you may like Sachin Pilot. And Sachin Pilot has so many good things going for him. But even Rahul Gandhi's hand is forced by circumstances, not by a liking or disliking or a preference of young versus old. He has to be a pragmatic politician if he has to run the Congress and lead it to a possible revival and a better showing in 2019.
I kind of agree with you there. You know, you've got to balance out people, and I agree with you, and I am given to understand and also privy to the fact that Kamal Nath went to MP and he did finance the election to a large degree. But Shaina, I'll take a quick question to you and then I will go to Shama Mohammed, because you know this whole thing about young Turks and giving young people opportunity perhaps needs to be answered by the Congress. And the question to you is, you know, you can criticize the Congress on many fronts. What you can't criticize them is that they don't have a Margdarshak Mandal, and suddenly if you become old you find yourself in that haloed company of men who really have nothing to do.
Well, let me start by saying that one has learnt in politics that experience has no expiry date, and that is the reality across the board. So I don't want to get into a young versus old debate, because clearly experience also has its own USP. And as far as the youth are concerned, obviously younger representation is required, but it's a matter of choice in each party. All I want to say is that we are a disciplined cadre. As far as our party is concerned, there is a parliamentary board that decides, and the cadre obeys and abides by decision. Chaotic display of support base causing inconvenience to public is not really the best kind of image for any party. And accountability from day one is something that we all must ensure in the 21st century, because the voter, looking at the amount of people who press nota, is worrying for any political party, because it shows you that if they don't want any of the above, then there is something brewing which we should actually do away with. And when you have this kind of an outburst, which is not a democratic one, you obviously have more and more people leaning towards a nota. So for 2019, I would only want to say, voter beware, as they say, buyer beware, I think the voter needs to be beware and really think about who can be the charismatic leader to lead the country, who can give political will but with good governance and stability. The answer will only be an obvious Prime Minister Modi.
I don't know if I'm talking 2019 just yet, but I'm not surprised that you're taking the cue from this and going to that argument. I like the fact that you say experience has no expiry. Tell that to some of your leaders. I think you make some really good points, Shaina. I wish some of your senior party colleagues and high command within the BJP listen.
I think it needs to be told to everyone,
no,
Supriya.
I think it should be, they should listen a little, they should listen to some of the sane points that you put across, which is why we have you on ET Now very often. You make more saner points and definitely saner points than some of your other colleagues. You know, it's always good to hear you, and I wish your party colleagues would listen more to the points that you put across than some of the, you know, spin machine that goes on across TV channels. But anyway,
so too.
Shama Mohammed, I'll come to you. And you know, while Rahul Gandhi promises hope, while Rahul Gandhi is a youth icon, and while Rahul Gandhi's leadership is a young person's leadership, we still had visuals of Priyanka Gandhi being at his residence, or Mrs. Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi being there. Is he going to undo a lot of goodwill if he does not go in for the Young Turk? A young India, you know, 100 million young voters in election 2019. Will those young voters be disappointed? I mean, do you really have to be old to be a person of consequence and position in Indian politics?
I'm going to come to that. Before that, I want to answer to what Shaina said. She said that you have been unfair to the voters. I think being unfair to the voters is having somebody like Adityanath, where you have trigger-happy policemen, where you have fake encounters, where you have a policeman shot dead. But it's more important to find out who killed the cows, how did the cow carcass come out there, rather than finding out. Even now they have not found out who has murdered that policeman, that martyr. You have anti-Romeo squads out there. The Chief Minister is busy outside the state, but at the same time you have children dying in Gorakhpur hospital.
My question.
So that's number one. So that
Shama,
is something called unfair
question
to the voters. She says her party is... Wait, I'm coming to that. I have to rebut to what she said about my party. Okay. I cannot continue like that.
Okay, great.
So the number 2 point is, she says about discipline in the party. That's what I've seen. When we saw Karni Sena in Rajasthan, what happened in Haryana when Ram Rahim was there, when he was being, the sentencing was of Ram Rahim happened. So don't teach us what is governance. We know what is governance. You know, the Congress party is governed well. Now, the question which you asked me is about young Turks and old Turks. Now, Rahul ji in the plenary speech clearly said that our party is both for the old and the young. It is who is capable. Whether you're old or you're young, you have to be capable. Our party is not someone where there is a Margdarshan Mandal, where Mr. Advani's blue-eyed boy was Modi. If it was not for Mr. Advani, today Modi would have resigned in 2002 after those riots. He is what he is today is because of Mr. Advani. But Mr. Advani has been treated like toilet paper, where you use and dispose. And that is the culture of the Bharatiya Janata Party under Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. They just use the senior leaders, they dispose them, and whoever they require, what they require, it is their decision. Okay. There is nobody who can, you know, stand against them. If someone stands against them, questions them, they're all put aside. Even their own leaders like Arun Shourie, if you see Yashwant Sinha, these are not tomorrow the Rafale case is coming out.
They said very clearly.
Court. But it is Mr. Sinha, Mr. Arun Shourie, who's gone to court, Supreme Court against the Rafale scam.
Okay,
so this is what we see they have turned their older leaders against them.
Okay, I wish your older leaders stay on board and they stay loyal. But Sadanand, very quickly, a lot of people believe that the selection of candidates will be the big test of Rahul Gandhi's managerial leadership. I forgot to mention the tweet that just came out, and that tweet had, you know, the three men, brothers in arms, if I may, the three men holding each other by their arms, and it said, it quoted Leo Tolstoy to say the most powerful warriors are patience and time. Is Rahul Gandhi really telling Jyotiraditya Scindia to be patient and telling Kamal Nath one last time?
Well, I guess this is like Kremlinology. I mean, we can all sort of read the tea leaves and interpret it in many different ways. That's certainly one way in which we could interpret it. You know, I think that candidate selection will be important. These are obviously tests. There are obviously factions. I would also agree with Shaina that to the degree that the BJP has greater ideological coherence, that also reflects perhaps a little bit more kind of internal discipline. However, in the end, the Congress has found this system that seems to work for them, that they're headed by a family member. There is implicit obedience across the board. I can't imagine that either Kamal Nath or Jyotiraditya Scindia rebelling against whatever decision is reached. But it'll be a test to see that it's reached in a reasonable time frame, and that there is that whatever ill feelings are there are contained. I don't think that'll be very hard right now because the Congress is in an upbeat mood and they have a clear goal to work towards in 2019. So if you're going to see problems, my bet is you're more likely to see them after the elections than immediately, because right now, there's nothing in politics that works better than success. And right now, Congress is enjoying the afterglow of success.
Absolutely, and the afterglow of success is very sweet and very heroic, I can tell you that. But thank you very, very much. I've completely run out of time here. We hopefully will have a decision later this evening, I'm told, in Madhya Pradesh, or early morning in Madhya Pradesh, and then of course subsequently in Rajasthan as well. This seems to be a cliffhanger of sorts. There are people who will tell you that, there are two factions fighting, but that also tells you a sense about inner party democracy. I think some amount of democracy is good. Having regional satraps and powerful of them are also good. That helps you broad base the political scenario. Having said that, this is going to be, of course, Rahul Gandhi's decision, and one will have to wait and watch. What is he going to go with? Is he going to go with the time-tested, experienced men of age, or is he really going to vote in favor of the young Turks? Completely out of time. Thank you very much for being with us.